On a crisp September morning in 2022, a $150 fine was taped to my mailbox in Oak Ridge Hills, a sleepy suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina. The notice screamed, "Violation of Community Guidelines 6.2e, Unauthorized Lake Use for Fishing in Mirror Lake, the pride of our neighborhood." I could still hear Linda Carver, the HOA president, shrieking at me in her teal blazer, accusing me of defiling her water. Her hands shook as she handed me the fine, not with fury, but with a fear she couldn't hide. That tremble, that fleeting panic in her eyes, told me this wasn't about a fishing rod. Linda was guarding a secret about that lake, and what I uncovered turned her reign of terror into my chessboard. It began on a Saturday that felt like a gift. The air was cool, the kind that soothes your soul. I sat by Mirror Lake, my dad's old fishing rod in hand, its grip carved with "Stay True, Ed, 1975. He'd left it to me before cancer took him, and fishing was my escape since my woodworking shop went under 3 years ago. The lake was calm, reflecting the towering maples. I hadn't caught anything in hours, but that was fine. It was about peace, not fish. Or so I thought. "What are you doing?" The voice sliced through the quiet. I turned to see a woman in her late 50s, teal blazer stiff despite the mild weather, clutching a clipboard like a weapon. Her name tag read Linda Carver, President. Her eyes locked on my rod with disgust. "I'm fishing," I said, keeping calm. "Is there an issue?" Her lips pursed. "Fishing without a permit is a $150 violation of Guidelines 6.2e, she snapped, scribbling on her pad. I blinked. "A permit? For fishing?" She stood taller. "This is HOA property. We control it. All activities need board approval." Her refusal to look at my dad's rod raised my hackles. "The HOA owns the lake," I asked, taking the fine. Linda's jaw tightened. "We oversee all assets. Pay within 5 days, or it doubles." She turned to leave, then paused. "Read our rules. They exist for a reason." Her heels clicked away, but her trembling hands betrayed her. Fear, not anger. Something was wrong. That night, I couldn't shake it. A $150 fine for fishing was absurd. I opened my laptop, diving into public records with the focus I'd used to check property deeds. The Oak Ridge Hills HOA website was a maze of controlled 256 pages of rules, from lawnmower decibels to approved mailbox shapes. But it never claimed Mirror Lake. I checked the county assessor's site and froze. The lake and its 5 acres belonged to Starlight Holdings LLC, registered in Tennessee. The HOA had charged lake fees for 20 years, per their financials, but they didn't own a drop. I dug deeper, cross-referencing tax records and HOA minutes. Linda and her board were running a scam, collecting millions for property they had no right to, enforcing fake rules. But why? I found Starlight's owner, an 88-year-old named Clarence Wheeler, in Memphis. His number was listed. I hesitated, knowing the smart move was to report this. But Linda's shaky hands, her dodge of my dad's rod, screamed there was more. I glanced at the fine. $150 for seeking peace. "If they don't own it," I muttered. "Who've they been fleecing?" I dialed Clarence. The HOA meeting was in a bland community center that drained all joy. I arrived early, armed with printouts and a USB drive. If Linda wanted to play dictator, I'd fight with facts. 50 residents slouched in chairs, looking bored. I spotted Elena Torres, a florist who vlogged, setting up her phone. "Can I sit here?" I asked. She shrugged. "Sure, unless Linda finds us for breathing." Her sarcasm bonded us. Linda marched in at 7 p.m., flanked by her board 4 grim enforcers with clipboards. She avoided me but glanced my way. "Meeting called to order," she barked, slamming a gavel. She listed violations: unapproved porch lights, grass 0.2 inches too long, a kid's chalk drawing. Then me. "Nathan Brooks, violation 6.2e, illegal fishing. Fine $150. I stood, USB in hand. "I'd like to address this." Linda's smile was venom. "Residents don't speak without permission." I stayed cool. "Your bylaws follow Robert's rules. I can respond to accusations." The room hushed. Her board squirmed. 20 seconds, she hissed. I plugged in my drive. 15 seconds to prove this fine's illegal. My slide showed county records. "Mirror Lake belongs to Starlight Holdings, not the HOA." Gasps echoed. Linda paled. You've collected $2 million for property you don't own. My next slide showed financials. The room erupted, residents shouting, Elena filming. Lies, Linda screamed. Public records, I said. Verify them. A retiree stood. I want my money back. Others joined in. Linda slammed her gavel. Order. Her composure gone, she snapped. This is slander. Mr. Brooks is dodging his fine. She signaled her security guards. Escort him out. 2 men approached. As they marched me out, Linda called. Vote to raise Mr. Brooks' fine to $500. All in favor. Her board agreed. Motion carried. Mr. Brooks, you're banned from all HOA areas, including the lake. In the parking lot, Elena was uploading. Linda just screwed herself, she said. I thanked her and went home, my mind racing. Linda had made this a war. I'd fight smarter. I called Clarence that night. Mr. Wheeler, I'm Nathan Brooks, calling about your property in Oak Ridge Hills. He paused. The lake? What's up? I explained the lies, fines, fraud. He cursed. They stopped paying rent in 2002, claimed they owned it. My lawyer said fighting wasn't worth it. My heart raced. What if I bought it? Silence. Why buy a lake for revenge? I looked at my dad's rod. Because some things are worth fighting for. Linda needs to learn. He chuckled. Come to Memphis. But be ready for a fight. Linda's not just a bully. There's a reason she's obsessed. The next morning, posters plastered my lawn me face on a mugshot. Oak Ridge Menace Nathan Brooks. Neighbors gawked. I laughed. Linda used my old shop's headshot, making me look sharp. But my faucet ran dry, a notice citing unpaid violations. Illegal, but it would take days to fix. By noon, Linda's gray SUV tailed me as I walked to buy water, filming me. I ignored her, but she leapt out. You're spreading lies, she hissed. I know your game. I stayed calm. I'm buying water, Linda, since you cut mine off. She screamed, citizens arrest for harassment, grabbing my arm. I stared. You're following me. She fake cried to 911. Cops arrived, baffled. Ma'am, you can't arrest him for walking, one said. Linda thrust a binder. He's violated sections 7.3, 12.8, 19.1. I declined to press charges, but asked for a report. Linda glared. This isn't over. That evening, Frank Delaney, a 70-year-old ex-cop, brought a battered box. Linda's lost it, he said, handing it over. 20 years of proof. Inside were photos, documents, tapes. A 2008 photo showed a lake picnic with a banner. Thanks, Starlight Holdings, for temporary access. Frank pointed to a man with Linda. Her husband, Greg, drowned in the lake 10 years ago. He found the lake scam, planned to expose it. Then he's dead. My stomach dropped. Murder. Frank shook his head. Guilt. Greg couldn't swim. She told him not to boat alone. Now she controls the lake to prevent more deaths. He stood. More evidence when you're ready. She's got cameras everywhere. Be careful. I drove to Memphis, questioning my sanity. Clarence greeted me at his modest home, walls lined with fishing photos. Why sell to you, he asked. I was honest. Linda fined me for fishing with my dad's rod. I'm petty enough to buy a lake. He laughed. She banned me from my own property. We agreed on $550,000 my entire savings. Stop her, don't destroy her, he said. Greg was good. He'd want her saved. My account dropped to $2,103. You own a lake and a war, Clarence said. At midnight, Linda called. I know you're digging in records. Stop, or else. She hung up. Clarence grinned. She's scared. She'll slip. By dawn, Mirror Lake was fenced off, my hired crew working fast. Signs read, private property. Mirror Lake. No trespassing. Owner N. Brooks. Residents gathered, confused. Elena filmed. You bought it, she gasped. Yup, I said. Let's see Linda's excuse. Linda's SUV screeched in, live streaming. A vandal fenced our lake. She stormed my truck. Remove this, or you're arrested. The crowd laughed as I said, for existing? She was trapped as the fence closed. Kidnapping, she screamed. Frank called. Tell them about the fees for a lake you don't own. She stammered. Slander. I held the deed. 20 years of fraud ends now. She smirked. Adverse possession. It's ours. She strutted off. Frank whispered. She needed no permission from the owner. We have proof she knew. Linda's lawyer, Alan Pierce arrived with papers. Remove the fence, he said. I sipped coffee. It's my lake. He sneered. Adverse possession trumps deeds after 20 years. I smiled. What if she knew she needed permission? He stiffened. Ask Linda about August 2008. He left, rattled. Elena sent a video of Linda, drunk, slurring. I own where Greg died. I faked it for 20 years. Adverse possession. Her pain was raw. I played Frank's 2008 tape. Linda thanking Starlight for permission, later saying, say we own it. We'll check. The final HOA meeting was chaos, 300 residents, Elena live streaming. Linda's presentation claimed adverse possession, her tears swaying some. I stood. Recall August 15, 2008? I showed her handwritten note thanking Starlight, then played her tape. Say we own it. The room exploded. Vote her out. Linda sank, whispering, I did it for Greg. He died with no rules. I couldn't let it happen again. The vote was 299 to 1. As she left, she said, the lake killed Greg. Don't let it kill more. By the lake later, she showed a demolition contract. I'll drain it. I canceled it and offered her a job teaching kids to swim. Honor Greg right, I said. She broke down, 20 years of grief spilling out. Her text read, thank you for saving me. Greg would be proud. Your dad raised a warrior. I fish every Sunday, watching Linda teach kids, her blazer gone. Frank plays cards, Elena vlogs. Justice wasn't destroying Linda, it was saving her. Would you have kept the lake private or shared it? Exposed Linda instantly or waited like Frank? Given her a second chance or let her face jail? Share below, and if you fought an HOA, spread this story. Subscribe for more fights against tyrants, because my neighbor's mad about my fence's shade.